All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders who are in Millstone, who teach very well, who I let this truth from, and sanitation out there to the hopeful elect who continue to push his word in all truth, faith, and sincerity. And also, Shalom to all the men, women, and children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And today, man, just getting on World War III, man. Because hey, it's all a build up until Yahweh Shai. But before the return of Yahweh Shai, certain things must come to pass. Like we know the C hip, the R to the F to the I to the D, CHIP coming to pass, and then World War III, then ultimately the return of Yahweh Shai. But as you can see in the background, the Lord is already building these things up, man. You know, brothers can see I have this article from RT News. It reads, "Wake up, Uncle Sam. Is the U.S. military ready to take on Russia and China?" Now, real quick, we already know it's nothing but Edomite on Edomite crime. These devils saying, yeah, it's best to bow when blood is in the streets. But do you know these devils are actually fulfilling biblical prophecy, man? Before I really read this article, let's go ahead and get this in the book of Joel. It says, "Wake up, Uncle Sam," because Uncle Sam was always known for having a sword. Uncle Sam wasn't always for being a good guy. Uncle Sam was always known for pointing at you and wanting you to join the army. Real quick, for continue on, let's get this in the book of Revelations, man. Showing you that Esau, Edom, is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and he is going to be the one that's going to incite this thing, for the lack of better words. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." Now, that precept right there is basically explains the so-called white man. Because ever since he been into power, peace have been nowhere in sight. But it also says, "Thou shalt kill one another." Part of these that was killing one another is U.S. and Russia crime. That's why they want crime. Jake. People want to talk about black on black crime with Jake, the Bloods versus the Crips. The MS-13 versus the Land Kings. Esau want to talk about that, but let's talk about the white on white crime, the Confederate versus the North, man, the Democrats versus the Republicans, and ultimately U.S. versus China, because this is going to be a major bloodshed upon the planet Earth of what's happening, man, what's getting built up into the background, man. I seen this guy on Rush Limbaugh. He was talking today. He was just basically talking shit, but for lack of better words, it made sense though. He was like, yeah, each month, let's say if we go to war right now, he said each month over 100,000 people would die. Then he said over a matter of 2 or 3 months, then they would have to call for a draft, showing you that hey, these people are already thinking and already looking towards the future or going into that act of desperation to cause World War III, man. Now, real quick, let's go back into this article. It says, "Wake up, Uncle Sam. Is the U.S. military ready to take on Russia and China?" Now, that word "wake" to me, because why? Joel, the 3rd chapter. It says, "Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles." And that's by the way of the prophet speaking out on the highways and byways, telling you what's going to come to pass. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Now it says prepare war. And it says wake up the mighty men. Now let's really look up the word wake up, because a part of these devils preparing war is creating these different missiles, like Russia. I think they have one of the best hypersonic missiles. The U.S. just sent some new tanks over there in Ukraine. So these devils are already preparing war. And these are already weapons that's set up in the battle of Yahweh Shaphat, man. It's already things that's already set up there. So when the thing or the prophecy actually come to pass, you ain't gotta exhaust too much effort, because the Lord have already predestinated these things to come to pass. Now that word "wake up," the phrase is Strong's H 5782. It says to rouse oneself, awaken insight. Now let's look up that word insight real quick. The word insight, just going to a regular Google definition, it says encourage or stir up violent or unlawful behavior. And they are stirring up violent behavior, man. World War III is going to be one of the most violent, it's going to be the most violent war upon the planet Earth, man. World War I, compare World War II, even the wars that we had back in Israel. It takes that in the book of, matter of fact, let's get there in Isaiah the 9th chapter. Even the wars of King David is not going to compare to World War III. Why? Let's get this in the book of Isaiah 9, you know? And it's beautiful because this is going to be the perfection of war. This is going to be the perfection of the sword. That's why it says in the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter, there was given unto him a great sword. Let's go ahead and get this real quick in the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, and I'm going to jump down to verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled with blood, rolled in blood. You know, swords hitting swords, shields hitting shields. Continuing on, though. It says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Yes, this war is going to be like a war of no other, man. You know, because why? This war is going to end off with ICBM nuclear technology, which the Lord is going to be able to control those things in those missiles. So let's go ahead and go back into this Joel 3 and 9, because Uncle Sam got to wake up because they realize that the kingdom is slipping. They realize that they're at the end of the run, and they're going to do any and everything to try to hold on to this cesspool they call a kingdom. You know? Let's go this real quick. Joel 3 and 9, once again, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Upon them preparing war is gathering up these different weapons, man. Tanks, missiles, airplanes, drones. It says, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. And by the way, that happened. One perfect example is my boy Rocket Man in North Korea. He wasn't worried about the entertainment or agriculture or what you think about his people in their clothes. The only thing he was worried about is those missiles. That's a part of being your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Instead of you trying to plant, these guys are planting weapons to defend themselves from the great Satan, which comes in the form of the so-called white man. Let's continue on though. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. And how, man? You know? Let's go ahead and go back into this article. Read a little bit more. It says, wake up, Uncle Sam. Is the U.S. military ready to take on Russia and China? 30 years after achieving total dominance, has the Ukraine conflict exposed the limit of American power? And these devils, they're so fucking proud. You know, they never thought that they would never be taken down, because even if you still talk to a hardcore patriot, he will tell you, yeah, we could just bomb the hell and back. Not knowing that they got the same technology that you got, man. Let's read a little bit in this article, man. It says the failure of Ukraine's much hype counteroffensive, and basically Ukraine and Russia, it's a proxy war. Instead of Russia and America just going in straight up and causing a lot of shit, they do proxy wars, man. And proxy wars is nothing but a gateway to real wars, man. One of my favorite is a guy called Simple History on the YouTube. The brothers watch that, but even how he broke down World War I and World War II, it really started with proxy wars. But that proxy war, it grew. Just like the words of the Lord, you know. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, which began in June of this year, has stuttered for over 3 months, has by now become a universally recognized fact. It has been acknowledged not only by Russian officials, including President Vladimir Putin, but also by Western media and experts. However, the summer campaign has made the world reconsider not only the capabilities of Kyiv's armed forces, but also the power of the country's main sponsor, the United States. when it comes to waging a large-scale war with a modern enemy. You know, Ukraine can't fuck with Russia, man. That's why they begging for Joe Biden with money. He giving them that bullshit, man. You know, they said the government is going to shut down. Everything's going to shut down, but we're going to make sure that aid of Ukraine still come through. These motherfuckers are simple, man. You know, not knowing that it's going to come to no avail. It's this unexpected news. Not really. Analytical reports have repeatedly stated that the U.S., despite of mind-boggling annual financial outlay, you spending all this money on the bitch, man. You know, but you're not seeing the outcome of it. It just may have trouble confronting a major power. A number of American experts whose opinions will be mentioned below have warned Washington's superiority in terms of precision, weapons, intelligence, and targeting may not be enough. So, hey, America, a Babylonian army, a technology, a Babylonian sword may not be enough when facing a really large insurgent formation. So basically, instead of you dealing with niggas in the Middle East, like the elder always say, a whole bunch of sand niggas on the back of the X-10, imagine when the same people that have the same weapons as you come towards you, man. Because that bullshit of Iraq, Iran, that was nothing but bullshit, man. Imagine when Russia come over here, man. I mean, when Russia and the U.S. head, but Russia or China, instead of you beating up midgets, you get to fight the real guy. It's just nevertheless, Washington overestimated its own capabilities, underestimated those of the enemy in case Russia. Yes, you underestimated your biggest rival, man. The underdog, not knowing that the underdog got a team this year. It says as a result, its assistance to Ukraine turned out to be inefficient. So it's in vain, man. Meanwhile, the U.S. and its NATO allies are not ready to provide more aid since there would grow. So like it says, the U.S. and its NATO allies are not ready to provide more aid since this would greatly weaken their own military power. So did the Washington military machine get into this situation? It says you will weaken your military power. Let's go right here to Isaiah 14 and let's jump down to verse 10. It says, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Why? Because everybody is on the same military level. If you act up, you're gonna send a missiles, man. Straight up in India. India might be a insignificant in certain people's eyes. Yeah, they got 1 billion people. It's a poor country, but at the end of the day, they got the button, man. You know, like the elder GMS rebuked the temple, hit the button. You know, when everybody hit that button, it's gonna be over with, man. Hit the button, man. And that's what we're waiting on. That's why I says that thou shalt become as weak as we, because everybody's on the same level now, man. America is not on their high horse, and it's being made manifest through the war with Ukraine. This is a major event that's happening upon the planet Earth, because this is how the eagle and the bear is going to go at it, man. This is how America and Russia is going to go at it through proxy wars. It's going to end up being built up into true real wars, man. You know? Continuing on, though, let's read this again. It says, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become as weak as we? Yes. A weak military, a weak financial aid, you know, art thou become like unto us? Thy pump is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, and that worm actually represents decay. Because 30 years it was riding high, but 30 years later, now you're decaying, man. You know? Verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Now, right there, that's not talking about in the beginning, Lucifer in the Most High God. No, that Lucifer is actually talking about the enlightened ones, and the heaven is actually talking about rulership. Because in order to rulership, you have to be enlightened. You have to have some form of wisdom. But these devils, they have a wisdom of wickedness, and that wisdom of wickedness will actually be their destruction, man. Continuing on, it says, art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Art thou cut down? It's like, my bad. O son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation? So how have you fell off, man, from that high estate? You was once America the fear, America the beautiful, even in the times of Baby Bush, even though he was beating up a midget by going in there in the Middle East and taking shit, saying weapons of mass destruction, you was beating up midgets, but everybody feared you. But you fast forward 20 years later, Joe Biden is the representation of this place. It's weak. It has dementia. It don't know where it's going. It don't even know where it's leaving. Not knowing that very, very soon your day shall come. It says, but thou hast said in my heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will assault my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit upon the mount of the congregations in the sides of the north. Yes, you got the space stations and bullshit out there, and you also, it's the highest guys upon the planet Earth. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Yet, yes, you think you're going to be God, but it says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So even though you think you're going to rule forever, ultimately the Lord is going to bring your ass down, man. Let's go ahead and jump down a little bit of this article, because through the Spirit, where Brother Shell watch up to see the weakness of the U.S. military. Type up Army TikToks showing you that these niggas are ready for the taking. Russia don't got Army TikToks, man. A lot of these guys in the Army, the Marines, the Navy, look at their TikToks, man. These niggas are ready for the Lord to take these niggas out, man. They soft. Let's go down right here. It says, a world without rivals. The downsizing of the U.S. Army was accompanied by a massive reduction in weapons and equipment stocks. In America itself, these situations were not as radical as in Europe, where in some cases, entire categories of military equipment disappeared just because you exhausting all your resources for Ukraine, not knowing that this bitch still gonna lose. It says, but in absolute terms, given the scale of the military, the reductions were huge. Thousands of tanks, planes, artillery pieces, hundreds of ships, millions of tons of ammunition, and other military property items were sold or liquidated. So, man, for lack of better words, everything is getting built up into the times now, man. The weapons that they have over here in the West, they shipping it over there to the East, man. The ships and everything, because they're ultimately building up for World War III. That's pretty much it on the article. Brothers, I'm going to put the link in on the comment board just in case a brother want to look at it. But through the Spirit, man, that's pretty much it, man, because Esau know his time is done. He know that, for lack of better words, that he don't have no what it's called, he don't have no love left. And ultimately his run has come to an end, because really at the end of the day, the Lord have set this guy up. He have blessed him with the sword just so he can shoot himself in the foot, man. Let's go ahead and get this real quick. Let's end up right here in the book of Jeremiah 50. And I'm going to start at verse 40. Jeremiah 50 and verse 40. It says, as the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell there. Showing you that what the Lord is going to get ready to do to America, it's going to be overkill, man. Because that's what the sites are set on. Let's say Russia, China, US. Everybody want the blood of these Americans, man. Why? Because ultimately you might say, yeah, because they don't do right in the sanctions. Ultimately, it's the will of the Lord, man. The Spirit of the Lord is on these different nations that aim missiles at this place. Continuing on in verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold their bow in the lands. For lack of better words, what is that talking about? These different nations, these different kingdoms are going to come together to fight against the U.S., man. I won't be surprised if Ukraine turned their back. Because you have to realize the reason why the Ukraine and Russia thing is a big thing because Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union. That's what these Americans don't realize. The only thing they're doing is claiming back their territory, man, getting that bitch back. I won't be surprised if later on Ukraine get a hold of U.S. of military aid and nuclear capabilities, and all of a sudden now they got the juice. Now they aiming the missiles at the U.S. Even Britain, they have nuclear technology, and believe it or not, it's aimed at the U.S. too. India, Russia, China, and even countries that's not even mentioned, bro. It says they shall hold the bow in the lands. Those are the missiles in the silos. And how you gonna let go and let go? You gotta hit the button. It says they are cruel and will show no mercy. They shall roar like the sea. That's how the missiles is gonna come when they get shot off. And they shall ride upon the horses. The horses represent power. Everyone put in array like a man to the battle against the daughter of Babylon. Not knowing that, hey, the missiles are meant for you, America. Right here, it says the king of Babylon, which is now Joe Biden. This nigga don't know what's going on. And I think my guy, one guy liking the president election of Trump and Biden don't get it. I like that guy, Robert DeSantis. He's a character, man. But it says the king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, in his hands wax feeble. Yes, he heard the report that the Lord Yahweh Shemapshah for to take this place down with ICBM missile technology. It says anguish took hold of him and pegs as a woman in travail. So guess what? These niggas are going to bug out. They're not going to know what to do once the missiles get shot off, man. He's going to be scared. Like I said, he's going to wax feeble. Once they find out somebody hit the button, he going to be scared. He going to have to get the football. Now he going to have to hit the button. Now somebody else going to have to hit the button. That's why it's a such thing called MAD, mutual aerial destruction. That's going to be the way that this kingdom is going to be taken out, man. So yeah, I pray this video was edifying. Once they call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim Rakakwadash, Shalom, DTA, and the Bible soon.